Hi everyone, Sarah here from the Paper Cut. First things first, always making sure volume is down. Okay. Oh, yep, we have volume and we have video. It's a good day in the neighborhood. And my mom is here. She's back back to the land of the living because she was down and out last
I'm not
week
doing that again.
and over the weekend, and yeah. But she's here tonight. So,
hello.
See, she is here. So yeah, it's been a busy little week at the Paper Cut. We had our comments sold on Saturday, so we've been working. Somebody asked when those orders are shipping, so we started shipping them today. I'm going to ship some more tomorrow, and Becky is almost done pulling them all. So hopefully we'll get them all out on Monday, with the exception of there's some people that want us to ship their class kit and their comments sold together. So those aren't going to ship till Thursday. But otherwise, yes, we started shipping them and all is good. But yeah, it's been a busy little week. So I was going to this week finish my cards for my craft along and finish, like I have them in my brain, but I was going to finish my cards for my interactive birthday card that is a Fun Time Thursday on the 16th, I think. And they're all going to ship together, the Crafter's Classroom and that. And yeah, I didn't do those either. So I don't have any more samples to show you than what I showed you last week. So let's go down to the table. Then I have my one Crafter's Classroom sample that I showed you last week that I have still this week. I made a mess on my table. And it's a twist and pop card. So I was supposed to finish them all, but yeah, that didn't happen. So it's going to happen this weekend, or tomorrow and this weekend. But remember I was saying that if you don't like baby, you'll also get some Easter images. So these are the Easter images. So the other card is a waterfall card, which we're going to be using the squares on, the baby squares. But I might make the Easter sample. So baby, Easter. So if you don't like one, you can do the other. Anyways, so that's Crafter's Classroom. Our birthday birthday Fun Time Thursday is going to be a double shutter card that we're going to cut the ends off and do, like I showed a card on, I think, before New Year's Eve. And then the other one is going to be manipulating a shutter card and a trifold card to make some fun folded cards. So I'll have samples for you coming up, but I don't today. So for today, I had somebody request that how to stamp on the metallic text weight papers. So Stamplistic, we do this special pack of metallic text weight papers for Stamplistic. I don't have them, so just Jennifer has them. And somebody said, how do you stamp on these papers? And so that's what inspired, and I actually don't even have any Stamplistic stamps. So Jennifer sent me a couple stamps. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about squares. And yeah, so what was I going to say? Oh, I love it that you guys are asking me to do different stuff. I kind of think I know what I'm doing next week already, which is a lever card, but you guys have been asking me to do things, and that's been inspiring me for my every Thursday. So keep the suggestions coming. But today we're just going to start out with metallic squares, and this is text weight. So I do have one piece of cardstock here. The cardstock is an 111 pound. The text weight is an 80 pound. But there's different grades of paper. So even though I say this is an 80 pound, we've got cardstock. So I've got a piece of black sitting here. This is not metallic. But there's 80 pound cover weight and 80 pound text. They're much different. So it's really confusing when people are just talking about weights of papers, because it also depends on the grade of paper, cover weight, text weight. So you have to be, careful, which one you're actually getting, especially when you're ordering off of Amazon and stuff like that, which hopefully you're not ordering your paper there. But anyways, so this is the metallic text, which we did have metallic text in our comments sold to a 100-pack variety. So maybe some of you got that. So anyways, stamping on metallics. So let's go. I don't know why I always turn my platform this way. I like it that way better than the other way. I don't know what you guys all do, but so, and I am by no means a Stamplistic expert. I probably need to go watch Jennifer more. I have hung out with some of you guys on her Friday nights, but I'm going to stamp this a bunch of times in some of my metallic text weight papers, and then I'm actually going to make a Stamplistic card, but not today, okay? I'm going to do the stamping on the metallic text, and then I'm going to show some other things too. So I'm not doing a Stamplistic card today because you guys probably know way more than I do, but I am going to design my first Stamplistic card ever with what I'm stamping right now. So I like to use, and I'm going to use a few different inks just to show you, but I like, if you want it to dry for sure, I like to use StazOn. Probably the most important thing with StazOn, well, the two most important things with StazOn is make sure that it's well inked. My re-inker is well used and has exploded, but make sure it is well inked. And once you stamp on your image, once you stamp on your stamp, don't have a chitty chatty with your neighbors. You want to stamp or ink and then stamp right away because it will dry on there. So when people say that it's stuck to the paper, so if it actually sticks to the paper, and this one didn't, but sometimes when it's not inked enough, it will actually like stick to the paper and pull up. So that's why you make sure that it's well inked. So yeah, right there, sometimes you need to give it a little extra push in certain areas. There. So yeah, it's that easy to stamp, but it is wet for a little bit. So I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to do this a few more times on a few more papers, and then I'm going to go to non-StazOn ink. But I just want to do some so I can actually make a Stamplistic card. So I'm going to stamp this a bunch of times. So in this stamp, or like you guys do probably know more than me, but Jennifer stamps it in a bunch of different colors and then cuts it out the different layers. So I'm going to stamp it a bunch of different times. I'm going to let it dry, and I will make this card and show you my creation next week. But we're going to be talking about stamping. I'm going to use StazOn on all of mine, but then I'm going to go to a couple different inks because usually I will say that you can heat set. But when you're working with the text weight paper, it might be too thin to heat set. And honestly, I have not done it. So we're going to actually try it and see if heat setting it works or if heat setting warps your paper with the text weight. With the cardstock, you can for sure do it with the heat setting. So like I said, I'm going to stamp a bunch of these and I will make the card next week. Or before next week, so I can show you. And like I said, I might have to actually go watch Jennifer on one of her classes to get all of her tips and techniques. What you looking at, Mom?
Well, my computer is acting stupid.
She's over there shaking her head, and I'm like wondering, what's going on? So some metallics do stamp and dry better than others. This one is ice silver. Ice silver, some of your black ink pads will dry on more than on the Star Dream. So that's a curious one. Curious, as you know, because I've said this a few times before, is their mill closed. So we might not even have Curious for too much longer.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. Oh no, oh no. And I'll be done stamping these in a little bit, and then we're going to move on to stamping with different inks. And we're just going to try heat setting. So this is all metallic text paper. And yes, when your ink gets too dry or when you talk, your ink will actually dry on your stamp with StazOn. So the biggest trick for StazOn is make sure you have a well-inked stamp. So you can tell where I did it the third time. So I don't know which ones of these I'm for sure going to use, but I'm just stamping a whole variety of them, and hopefully I'll have colors that'll make a very pretty flower. So yes, this is all the metallic text, and I'm just going to do one more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I might need 2 more to get all of my layers. So she asked me, do you want a thin line stamp or a thick line stamp? So this one has a little bit of both in it, thin and thick. And then she sent me this other flower background that I kind of like, so I'd like to demo with that one. Maybe I'll do one more. I'll do a deep red. Or Mars. And then I will move on. So the metallic paper is also good for ink blending. So I'm actually going to do that before I stamp on the next one with the other stamp that she sent me. I'm going to do this one more time. It's a little bit darker, so I want to make sure that it's, but yeah. So StazOn ink, make sure you hold it down with your magnets and make sure it is well inked. Those are your keys to making sure you get a good image with the StazOn on the metallic papers. Now actually, yes, I'm going to clean this one off really quick. We're going to ink 2 different ones with 2 different ink pads just for a tester. And I'm pulling out some Star Dream. This is Silver Star Dream. And we're going to try 2 different ink pads just so we can test them. But I am going to clean off my stamp first, just so I can get all the StazOn off of there.
If I don't respond, it's because I can't see the questions.
Oh, you having trouble seeing?
Yeah, I am.
So yeah, my mom's not responding.
Intentionally.
Intentionally, she's having trouble seeing comments.
And I thought I was sick.
So her computer is being sick, right? Your computer is being weirdo.
Yeah, it is weirdo.
Okay, so on one side we're going to try archival ink, and on the other side Memento. And I can't say that these are the juiciest ink pads either. But we're going to test this just for how long it takes to dry, and if you can heat it to dry it. I am thinking the heating might ripple the text weight paper. You can definitely heat set to dry cardstock, but honestly I have never heat set to dry text weight paper. I'm pretty sure you can do it, but you might get a little waviness, but we're going to try it. Okay, so we got a fairly decent images, although these probably need to be hit again. And that's purposely where I did not ink. So it's separating my memento from my archival. So, and sometimes the black inks on the metallic just don't show up as deep black just because of the metallic sheen. So, yeah, the lines I would say are not as nice using other inks besides the StazOn. So I'm not going to hit it again, but I'm just going to set this off to the side just for a minute. And I'm going to clean my stamp, which I normally don't do. But I've kind of got a big mess going on here. So I don't want to get ink on anything, so that's why I'm cleaning a little bit more than I normally do. So anyways,
See, my screen locks up, and then if I say and refresh, then it gets big, and then I can't
then
see
you can't see.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mementos is still wet. The archival dried pretty darn quick, okay? But I didn't get as deep black of an image as I did with the StazOn. However, if you use a juicier archival, it might get deeper black, but it might take a little bit longer to dry. So the more I rub on it, it rubs a little bit, but not as much. The memento definitely did not dry. But let's pull out our heat tool. So I'm just heating it just to see if it'll dry this way, and it probably will. It'll dry. I just kind of wanted to see I'm getting a little bit of waviness just from the heat. So you're going to be sticking it down. It might not even matter, but I just wanted to make you aware. And as I'm drying it, you can see that the image did get visibly lighter, especially with the mementos. So I'm going to pull out one of my ones that I did with the StazOn, just so you can compare. But yeah, the other inks, at least the other two that I'm trying, you're not getting as deep, dark of a black as you do with the StazOn. So yes, they're dry. Okay, they're not smudging, but it's not as deep, dark of a black as I did with the StazOn. Hang on a second, I'm going to pull my StazOn ones out. So that's the difference between the StazOn and the other inks. Now let me just, the StazOn, because I'm using this one, I don't want to mess it up. But actually I can go in the middle if I'm not going to use this layer. So actually, yeah, the StazOn is dry. I don't even need to heat it. But look at how nice it kept the black ink. So when you're using the Stamplistic stamps and you're using her pack of metallic text weight paper, StazOn is definitely your way to go versus archival or memento. Now that's not to say that there's not other inks out there that you can use. And I'm sure if anybody's on here and use, you know, a different black ink, surely let us know what you're using. I just use the StazOn because I don't have too many other black inks besides that. So just let us know if you have a different black ink that dries on the metallic text and keeps a nice black image. So, okay, I'm going to go on for a minute. And I am keeping all of my colors that I stamped with the one stamp. So, and we'll see what I come up with next week. Anyways, that stamp from Stamplistic is this one called Botanic. And next week you can see what I do with it. So I'm just going to set these aside. You guys watch Jennifer for hours cutting, but I'm not going to do that because I'm usually only with you about a half an hour. Anyways, there's this other stamp. And I wanted to just show you, oops, I can't. This one I stamped earlier, and I was going to brush blend over the top of it, but sometimes when you brush blend, you get a little residual you know, it will start to smear a little bit the brush blending. You wouldn't think it would, but it does. So I'm just going to go to a clean sheet, and actually I don't have a clean, oh I do. Okay, so the metallic texts are great for brush blending. The inks just blend over these so smoothly. So this is just to make a quick and easy background using the metallic text weight papers and just dye-based inks and brush blending. And you can see, you don't get hardly any lines on here, and they just blend so well. See how good those colors blend together? Now if I took a paper towel and I wiped it off, I'm going to lose a little bit of color, but you don't really need to. So let me see if I can get some pink on there too. And then I'm going to go through with the flowers and stamp them. Oops, that pink isn't that great. Yeah, I tested something a little bit earlier where I did, I stamped first with StazOn and then went and brush blended over the top of it. And it didn't stay as crisp. So it didn't like totally smear, but it just didn't stay as crisp as I wanted it. So that's why I chose to do the blending first. Because I figured if I stamped first and then blended, I could get my colors more directed. But I'm just going to call it what it is. It's just going to be a background stamped with flowers. So just a pink, a yellow, and an orange. And now I'm just going to take, now this one I don't have in my platform, so I'm just going to just stamp it, and I'm just going to make a quick and easy background. So now we do have the text papers, we just don't have them in that 6x6 size. And now I'm hoping that I really have it inked well enough that I don't need to stamp it a second time because I'm not using my platform. Whew, that worked. Yay.
Nice.
But that's what I mean. I don't want to ink my stamp and then talk to you all. You want to ink and stamp right away when you're using StazOn. Because if you start yibber-yabbering, it will dry out and then it's going to stick to your paper, which means either your ink pad was too dry or you sat there and chatted before stamping.
No camping out, right?
No camping out. No.
Yep.
Just got to ink and stamp. Ink and stamp. So now with squares, let's talk about squares for a minute. Our square cards, so our envelopes are the even numbers. So our square envelopes are 5, 5.5, 6, and 6.5, which means our cards are a 1/4 inch smaller. So the ones, you may get from Stamplistic, they get those special from us. We don't carry those. So we do not have a 6x6 card. We have cards that are 6 1/4 and 5 3/4. So our cards are 1/4 inch smaller than our envelopes. Okay, so super quick, easy background with that stamp, which that one's called Forget Me Nots. Now, just to get to our card sizes. So the panel right here is 6 by 6. And that goes on our 6¼ by 6¼ inch card. Or you can cut it down. So somebody asked me, and this all kind of goes together with the squares. So somebody asked me if we would make 6 by 6 square panels. So square panels to go. So I did. We've got 6 by 6 square panels. So these can fit in our 6¼ by 6¼ square card. They can fit edge to edge on a 6-inch card. But what she was looking for them for was because there's so many stencils out there that are 6 inches. So she wanted a piece of paper that you didn't have to cut up your 8½ by 11. So we do have these 6 by 6 white panels on our website right now. They're either under the scrapbooking page under mats and layers, or they're under paper basics under layering swatches. So I think, Mom, if you just type in 6 space X space 6, they'll come up.
All right.
Okay, so we did put those on, and that was because somebody requested them just for all of the 6 by 6 stencils. So even though I did this front, I want to do one more card front for you. Well, depending on what time it is. What time is it?
It is 6:27, Sarah.
Ooh, okay, well. Anyways, maybe I'll just show you what I did. So I took a 6 by 6 stencil and taped it down, and then I brush blended. And so that's using our 6 by 6 layer. Oh, I'll do it. What the heck?
So what did you want me to look for? I was not listening.
6 by 6.
Yeah, I looked for 6 by 6, and then what do you want me to look for?
Oh, no, I'm just telling you that's if you were looking for where to link them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. So, anyways, you can use our 6 by 6 layers with the stencils that are out there. I'm just going to do this one really quick in case anybody has a question on how I did this one. So, and then I do have words for a card too. So, let's see. So, this is a 3-set stencil from Impression Obsession. And it's a very delicate, so I did kind of hold it down each time.
What stencil is that, Sarah?
This one's from Impression Obsession. I don't even know what it's called.
Okay.
It's on the Impression Obsession website.
Oh, okay.
But it's very delicate, so I do kind of hold it down while I'm stenciling it. So yeah, I have a card, or at least a word, that I can do either with our brush blended and stamped one, or that I can make a card out of this
That didn't
one.
work. Okay. So we should stop it.
So this is a layered stencil from Impression Obsession. So it's got different layers to it. And I put a little X on the top of it just so I could put my layers. This is the next one that lays down over it. You just line it up. And you hold it in place, and then I'm going to go with one darker color. So yeah, I always think I'm not going to have enough, so then I plan extra to do, and sometimes I get to it and sometimes I don't.
Stencil is Impression Obsessions, right?
Yeah. So now I'm just going with the next shade darker of pink. So yeah, sometimes I'm with you a little bit longer than I plan on. Sometimes I have enough probably to keep me busy for like an hour.
When I type in 6 by 6, Sarah, this is what comes up.
Oh, that's probably not the
That's
right
not
one.
the right one, right?
No.
Yeah.
Can you go under paper basics, ma'am?
Okay, yeah, let me go there and type in.
And don't type in anything. Just go under, just click on, well, click on scrapbooking.
Okay, click on scrapbooking. Under,
Right underneath bulk papers, slimline cards, and then there should be scrapbooking.
I see it. All right.
So again, I'm just lining the stencil up over the top of the previously stenciled images.
So then this is what comes up.
Yeah, so go to the top of it and click on mats. Like there's a top box that says,
Photo mats and layering products?
yep.
All right.
And then I think it's the first one because
Yeah.
I didn't categorize it into a size. Or it's should
Top
be,
tone variety?
no,
No, all right.
maybe it's the last one on the page.
White 80-pound cooler opaque
Yep.
layers? All
Yep.
right. Thank you.
Hmm.
Whew. Brain fog.
Sometimes I give my mom a heads up. Today I totally did not.
Yeah, I didn't ask either. Oh well, it's always interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how you can use our 6x6 panels with your stencils. But this stencil happened to have a border around it, so you could layer it right like that, but I am going to trim. So, and look what I found. I found it in I don't know where I found it. So I'm just going to trim a little bit off of each side. But I kind of like this rather than my big one.
Oops.
Okay, so I just trimmed a little bit off of there. And now I did cut a 6x6 black panel. And I might actually put the 6x6 black and cream panels on the website too. But I am going to trim a little bit more off of there just because I want a smaller border. So I'm just going to make this. Oh, all of a sudden I got a frog in my throat.
Oh, it's the one I had all last week. It jumped over.
It did jump over.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, I want a thinner border than that. So, measure twice, cut once, Sarah.
Yes.
Right?
Righto.
Righto, Joe.
Oh, look at that little cutter.
Yeah, I found the little cutter. I love it.
In your stamp room, Sarah? Where did you find that?
No, I think I found it. I don't know where I found it. I found it somewhere in this building. I think I found it up front by the quilted cards.
Ooh.
So, anyway, so now I have a little black layer. So, I've got my 2 cards that I've got. If I have 2 white card bases, I don't think I do. So, I'm going to attach this one. I'll wait for this one to dry just because I don't want to. Oh, I like that. So I'll finish that card later with my other one. I don't want to turn it over with my, it should be dry because I used stays on, but let's just do this. I don't use squares that often. So you guys asking me to do different things is pushing me out of my comfort zone, which is a good thing. I don't use the metallic text weight papers that often. I had to ask Jennifer to send me some stamps, and she did.
That was nice.
And now I'm going to make my first stamplistic card from beginning to end. So, and then I did just do a word. So, and I should have trimmed that before. Oh, fudge. Fudge of dumplings. I put together my word ahead of time. That makes me have to trim off a little bit. Well, foo.
This way, both that describes my night perfectly, Sarah.
Foo. Oh, there. Now I like it. Okay, so now I'm just going to put some tape on the back of that. Actually, attached with foam tape would be really nice, but just going to do the easy. So yeah, that was a quick and easy stencil card. And then we have our quick and easy layer that I'm going to make into a card. And then we also have our other layers that I will make into a card and show you next week. So, thanks for joining me tonight, and we will see you next week. Bye, guys.